Hi there, welcome to my channel. Today I'm getting the house ready for Christmas. I love this season. I normally have coffee in the mornings, but today I opted for hot chocolate with a good helping of whipped cream. And of course, I like to start every day by jotting down some things in my planner so I know what I want to get done. So now let's get to decorating. We already decorated our main Christmas tree, and as you can see, we went with a woodland theme this year and we love it. My kids love it, my husband loves it, and I love it. If you haven't seen that video, feel free to check it out. We do have a few other trees that we're going to decorate using kind of more of a merry and bright, eclectic theme. My tree is artificial. I got it from King of Christmas last year, but that doesn't mean it can't smell like a real tree. My mom just got me this Fraser fir tree spray. So you just spritz your tree and it smells like the real thing. I love it. I'm starting in our kitchen, but first I wanted to give a quick update on the paper white and amaryllis bulbs I planted a few weeks ago. You can see the roots in this container. These are paper whites and they really shot up. They'll probably be blooming before we know it. Here's another container of paper whites. These are planted in gravel and growing much slower. And then we have our container of 3 paper whites and 3 red lion amaryllis bulbs. It'll be fun to watch them grow. This one will turn into a red and white display, which should be beautiful. I'm a big fan of Kristen McGowan's YouTube channel. She's an interior designer with great tips. She recommends using a small lamp like this, which I got for only $10 at Walmart, to light up dark corners of your kitchen to give it a cozier feel. I love the green, it's fitting for the season, and since I'm planning to paint my kitchen cabinets, I thought this green will go perfectly with the color I have in mind. I'm also placing this small nativity set on the counter. I did this as a DIY project a few years ago using some crackle paint, fairy lights, and I love how it turned out. It's something I get out year after year still. For my sink area, I'm using this wood stand that was already there and adding in some of these bottle brush trees, some Fraser fir hand soap, and a Fraser fir pine cone candle. It gives a really fun and festive vibe. I'm adding a few pieces to the windowsill to give it some life, and then I'm drying some orange slices in the oven in case I want to use them for a handmade garland later. I'm using some extra red ribbon that I had lying around to add bows to the white canisters that sit on my countertop. To give the tails a final decorative touch, I just folded the ribbon and then cut from the center outward. I think the bows bring a nice punch of color to the entire kitchen and make it look a lot more festive. For a quick and easy way to display Christmas cards, I just took 2 large ribbons and tied them around the cabinets in our kitchen nook area. After that, I just take the Christmas card and use a clip and hook it to the ribbon. Once it starts filling up, it really looks nice and festive, and it's fun to see all those pictures and cards. I kept things fun and light in the bathroom with a few bright red decorations and then some more Fraser Fir hand soap and lotion. If you watched my Christmas crafts video, you might know that I toyed with the idea of using some cardboard trees as my tablescape. I decided to go in a different direction and keep it a little more simple, a little more classic Christmas. I'm using this throw blanket as a runner. It's the same one I used for my fall tablescape. I just love the texture and the warmth that it brings to the wood table. Next, I'm bringing in a garland and laying it down the center of my table and kind of hooking the ends around to secure them. I'm making sure to fluff all the greenery so it's nice and full. I'm adding in a vase that I'll use as the centerpiece. I plan to go out in my backyard later and forage for some nice greens. I'm adding in 2 more decorative trees. Both are battery operated and light up. I love the simple, clean look of the garland and throw blanket, but I'm missing one thing. It needs to light up. When it comes to Christmas, I say the more glow, the better. So I have these battery operated fairy lights. I'm carefully just weaving them into the garland back and forth, making a nice, subtle, delicate glow. This little table is kind of a catch-all. I use it to have out our candy dish for the kids. I'm putting some cardboard trees on it, and I'll have another container for the greens I plan to forage from the backyard. I figure, why waste an opportunity when you can load it up and display more Christmas decorations? Downstairs in our entryway, I already have our pencil tree up. I just need to decorate it. I also put up our garland on the staircase banister. Since we don't have a fireplace, I hang our stockings at the top of the stairs. My great aunt knits these stockings for every member of our family. Aunts, uncles, grandparents, all the grandkids. She's knit so many stockings, and I think they're so neat and unique. I just need to do a little adjusting to the stockings so that they hang a little lower. Right now the garland is covering all of our names and we can't tell whose stocking is whose. After that, you guessed it, I'm adding another strand of the battery operated fairy lights to light it up and make it glow. I'll probably come through over the next few days and stuff the stockings so that they look a little fuller as they're hanging. I love the delicate look of the fairy lights, and I also love how easy it is to just hide the battery box right there in the garland. I'm adding another garland beneath our TV. My entire family, if you ask them, they will tell you that they hate this thing because it interrupts the remote and the TV. But as I told them, you just have to find that angle and figure it out. For the coffee table, I'm just adding a simple swag and container for some more foraged greens. I ordered some throw pillow covers from Amazon just to bring in a little more color and make the entire living room more festive. Now, some of the trends these days are more muted, but I like to do what my family enjoys, and so I brought in kind of this bright rustic pattern. When it comes to decorating, I say just do what makes you happy. Stick with the things that you and your family enjoy. It's your house. There are no rules. If you've seen some of my other videos, you probably know that I love to forage in my backyard. I'm really lucky because we have so many different plants and evergreens that provide such interesting and beautiful cuttings for arrangements. When you use clippings from outside, you can use a preservation spray. I've done this several times and they've always lasted. They do dry out and drop their needles a little bit, but I've always had good luck without using the spray. But maybe I'll try it sometime in the future. Since I'm opting not to use the spray, the worst case scenario is my cuttings will dry out, start to look bad, and I'll just have to go out and get some fresh ones. Back inside, I'm just experimenting with putting different cuttings into the different containers to see what works. I'm topping it off with some of the red berries that I found on one of my bushes, and I'm really happy with how the arrangements turned out. Downstairs, I'm just adding a few trees to this entryway table. I'm using this mirror as a placeholder because I'm planning on replacing it with a very large arched mirror in the future. Once the trees are placed and the candy dish is full, I'm adding in more of the fairy lights. These lights are plug-in. They're a little brighter and they have different settings. They can be solid or flicker, and they also run on a timer. We don't spend a lot of time in this downstairs living room, but it is the first room you see when you walk in the door and get home. So I wanted to make sure it looked pretty and had some decorations. On this table by the window is where I keep my little village. It's got several little buildings, but the problem was some of the buildings' lights no longer light up. So after adding in a few of our cardboard trees that my girls and I made, I went through, added some greenery, and then added another strand of the plug-in fairy lights. I wove the fairy lights into the greenery and then sort of bunched them up and inserted them into each of the buildings so that they would light up and glow like they're supposed to. But with the fairy lights, they're all running on a single strand rather than different individual plugins. I love this little village. My mom actually gave it to me a few years ago, but she had it all throughout my childhood, and I remember loving to look at all of the little buildings and kind of imagining all the little people who lived and worked in them. For the extra fairy lights, I just balled them up and stuck them inside this vase on the bottom shelf of the table, and it worked perfectly. For our bedrooms, I love the idea of someday buying all new Christmas bedding. But for now, I just like to add a nice Christmassy blanket to the top, and then since my duvet is neutral, I can just add it in and kind of fold it at the bottom of my bed so that the Christmassy blanket still shows. This is just such a quick and easy way to make your bed look Christmassy. In the future, I think I'll be looking for a nice dark green velvety blanket and maybe a little more muted kind of beige comforter set. I love keeping my bedding neutral so that I can play around during the different seasons by just adding a single blanket and some pillows. I like to make sure my pillows are all fluffy and balanced, sitting up straight on the bed. As a final touch in my room, I'm adding in some more of the cardboard trees that my daughters and I made. These are so fun, and they're just a fun reminder of my kids. Some of them aren't quite perfect, but that's okay. This bedding is really cozy, the blanket's really soft, and I think Ziggy approves. Before I go, I wanted to show you the little blooms that are about to open on our paperwhites. The amaryllis still have a ways to go, but you can see the paperwhite blooms pushing their way upward. I still have a few projects to do. I want to decorate our trees, I want to decorate our front porch, and do a few other Christmas things. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to say thank you so much for watching. I wish you all happy decorating.